All right, everybody, welcome to This Week in Pickleball, episode 5. Today, you're finally going to get a different perspective other than me talking for an hour. Today, I've got my buddy Aaron here. We're going to roll through everything this week, and just going to see, let's talk about the interesting stuff from this week, okay? Cool. So, starting off, PPA North Carolina just happened, right? I feel like there's a lot of upsets in this one, not just on Champ Sunday, which I think is like where we should focus, but let's do one by one here. So men's singles, right? Roscoe's first PPA Sunday. Is it Gabe's first Sunday too?
I think in finals, yeah.
Yeah. So both of them on the first Sunday. I'm not gonna lie, like it was cool to like see somebody different there, but it didn't feel that like exciting. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like the actual game itself wasn't.
It's like interesting because you like expect to see certain players there, and then when you don't see it, like it's kind of a breath of fresh air, right? But then at the same time, it's like, well, I'm used to seeing this, so that you don't see it, it's just not the same, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's part of that. Yeah, it's probably that. And to be fair, I'm sick and tired of seeing Ben winning however many straight tournaments or whatever, basically being like a robot from 21 through 24. Like I'm tired of that. But at the same time, there was just like, I don't know, certain like a Zhao Mei. Right, Zhao Mei is a legitimately fun to watch player.
Yeah.
And so Gabe and Roscoe both played really well. It just didn't feel like it was exciting, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. But that was a great result, like, for Gabe, though. Like, that, like, to get that first goal in singles, like, he looks to me, it's weird. Not that I'm good at singles. He looks unnatural as a singles player sometimes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you look at his volleys, right, his roll volley, it's like from like down here, right? It's just like this.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you see someone hitting a volley like that in singles, it doesn't look like the traditional like tennis, singles volleys that you kind of see more in that like type of the game, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It's funny because he has a two-handed backhand, right? Like that's how he hits his.
He has a two, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like his like swing motion. It almost feels like he shouldn't. Like I don't know. Like his swing motion is almost like it's so fast, and kind of like.
Dude, you're dancing like salsa. Like.
Yeah.
But
I can't describe it. Is it like arm? Is it a lot of arms? I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me, but shit, it works.
Yeah. No.
It works.
Don't fix what's not broke.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then so then women's, right? Like I thought Paris had it in the bag. Like before it really even started, I really thought that it was going to be Paris.
She's been playing well. I mean, I also thought Hunter was gonna also do much better.
That is also true. Do you think that affected her somehow? That it was like her only playing for herself?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to know what people think, right? I feel like if you're playing at like the upper echelons of sports, I don't know how much those things affect you because I feel like you have a way to lock in regardless of, kind of things like that,
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's like a who wants it more kind of thing. It's like you just have that ability to like lock in,
You don't? I feel like that plays a factor is like, who like I don't know. Like you said, like there's a lot of things that we won't understand not playing at that level, but like
not yet.
in like a month and a half, okay, when we're making main draws in singles, right? Shoot, I don't think how long do you think you'd have to train to make a main draw in women's singles? Like your foot's hurt right now, but like no injuries.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
I would never make a main draw because I refuse to run that much, like ever. I hate being out of breath, and after about 4 points in singles where I get ran from like the back of the court to the other side all the way up to the net, I'm just like I forfeit. Like,
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah, dude, the shot making right now, both in like men's and women's singles, is like so good. Like
Yeah.
so much better than it was even like, because like a year and a half ago it was just Annalie.
For sure.
Annalie was just like was doing everything, and she's still doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I sense upsets brewing in like the next like
For
few
sure.
months.
But I think it's because you think like paddle technology has gotten like so much better. So people with strong tennis backgrounds can implement a more similar ground stroke to their tennis ground stroke,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
And the ball will like react very similarly, almost, as opposed to it used to be a little bit like smoother. Dwell times weren't as good, and so like when you're hitting the ball, it's like you're not being able to like shape the ball as hard. So like, I think people with stronger tennis backgrounds will find really strong success in the singles game, moving forward, which is why I think there's more upsets.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you take a guy like, I don't know, like Eric Onsens, right? Did he have?
That I have no clue. I just know that he played insane.
He's nuts. He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I remember first seeing him. I think he was sponsored by Engage when I first watched him play, and I don't remember if it was like MLP or elsewhere. But I remember thinking like, dude, that he's got like he's a little wristy, especially like in doubles and whatnot. I'm like he could be good, and all of a sudden just switches to Yola.
Yeah.
And there he goes, just
Yeah.
just taking off. Him and Dylan had that upset against Diascu and Alshon
sure,
in
yeah.
men's, and I was like,
That was crazy.
dang.
Yeah.
The reaction afterwards.
Dude, the shade with the non like handshake from Alshon.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, like if you are, I feel like in tennis it's different, right? Like if the person is celebrating for too long, they'll like walk around the net, right, and be like, "Hey, can I like shake your hand so I can
Yeah.
leave?" But but yeah, no. Like in pickleball, right? That doesn't happen. Like I've
Yeah.
never seen any. The court's so small, nobody's
Yeah.
gonna walk around the net. Like I don't know. You gotta. I would save the celebration for afterwards, but also I've never beaten, Christian and
I've never
Diascu.
beaten someone that I shouldn't have. I've never had such a huge upset.
Yeah.
Where it was like that important to me.
Yeah.
Where that like the other opponent recognizes that, and then is like gracious and just like, yo, nice, you got me, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, it was cool to see. But speaking, you're mentioning Paddle Tech,
for sure.
like the
Not Paddle Tech the brand.
not Paddle Tech the brand,
Tech.
Paddle
Paddles,
space
yeah.
TECH.
Yeah.
But like we were just talking about women's singles, Kate Fahey when she broke her paddle.
Oh, that
over
was
her
sick.
head, right? What did you think of that?
New PB testing standard for paddles. That's first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job, Pro XR.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that players will like? I feel like players going in, like they have to know that their paddle is like on the verge.
For
like,
sure.
It's like right there. They're probably like, do you think they ask for that up front? Like, do you think a company can be like, hey, here's this. It's probably pretty close to the limit. And I'm not saying that Pro XR does this, or even if they do that, like nobody else does it. I'm sure all of them do this to some degree. We all know things like grit are not going to be equal when it comes to what's for the pros versus what's for consumption.
Yeah.
But you think like even like core integrity, that like they mess around a little bit?
I don't know. I actually don't think the cores change, but they probably, like, certain paddles have like break-in periods.
Yeah.
They probably get that paddle real close to right where it becomes illegal, or not illegal, but like
it
little
wouldn't
bit.
pass.
Yeah, like it probably wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
And then but you're trying to get the most performance out of these paddles as you can, because you're trying to the difference in skill level for the top 4 or 5 players on each side it's not that large anymore,
Yeah. Yeah. You think like Paddle Tech is the reason why like that gap sort of decreased, or do you think it's also skill?
I think it's both. I mean, definitely tech has a big thing, right? Because like I always tell people like that I coach that if you can hit a ball hard and you can hit that ball in, people at levels, kind of moving down are going to have issues regardless,
Yeah.
right? Like you catch a 4 or 5, a 5-0 player off guard, and because you hit a ball like square and it's fast, like you can get a point,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Agreed. Okay. So this is the strategy to beat Ben Johns. You
Yeah,
have to
just-
surprise him with how
just whack
well
the
you've hit the ball.
as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I remember watching Ben and Colin play Zane Ford and like Tam
Yeah.
at what was it, Worlds or Nationals?
Nationals.
Like this past was December or November.
Was it November?
November. And like yes, Ben won pretty handedly with Colin, but Zane's drive and crash with Tam, it like definitely took them a few points to kind of get the hang of, the tempo of the game, right? Because it was just a different speed and tempo. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I agree. I also, it's funny, like, I would see Zane like posting his tutorials online before I actually like saw him play, and I was like, oh, cool, like a pro, obviously, like, like another pro, like doing tutorials. But he's slowly, like, ever since that point, I feel like was a turning point for him. He
Yeah.
started like actually like breaking in a little bit, and it's like you said, like clearly like he practices what he preaches and it works, and also like him and Jaume both play with the Ruby, and you're just letting me feel like the Rubies that you guys have here at the Kingdom, like that grit level on the production, it's gone up a little bit.
Yeah, it's way more textured than I remember it used to being. Like, not quite the levels of like the band 3S paddles that would like stick to your shirt.
Yeah.
But it's
getting there.
It's getting there. It's close.
It's getting there.
So.
And after we did that, I went home and I have like a brand new like 16 mil from months ago. And I felt the face. That thing was smooth. Like it wasn't like GX2 face smooth, but it was significantly less gritty.
GX2 gearbox.
The gearbox. Yeah, because that gear, like that paddle, like the 3K woven face, like nice and smooth on that. It was very similar to that.
Yeah.
And here it's like actual grit, like what I'm used to seeing on Gen 2 paddles.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
For sure.
But yeah, so that was singles. Mixed dubs. J-Dub and Georgia get it done over Ben and Annalee. 3-1 also. Like,
I mean, I think Georgia played insane.
Yeah.
Let's go Flash this year.
Go Flash, baby.
MLP Flash, Dallas's most winning team
of all time.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Hopefully. But no, they played really well.
Yeah. They're just nuts. And also, I don't feel like they were hitting their shots so well that it didn't feel hard. Like we were just talking about, like how like Eric and Dylan beating Diescu and Alshon, like they clearly know that like on both sides of the net wasn't their best, but yet they still pulled off like the major upset.
Yeah.
In any game you're going against Ben and Annalee, you're the underdog by a significant margin.
Yeah.
So to win that, to make it to make it look as easy as they did, and then do it like 3-1, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It was pretty cool.
But yeah, go Flash, man. Georgia, just huge, like, and it still feels like Georgia might, like, especially Georgia in particular, has even more like upside from how she's playing right now. They're both like practically teens. Like I think is JW 19 or is he 20?
I don't know if he can legally drink yet. So
he's down there.
Yeah.
And then Georgia's for sure, like Georgia's either 18 or 19. I think there was like some graphic the PPA put out.
Yeah.
Like notable teenagers playing on tour.
For sure.
And it's like, dude, like in another like year or two, like she's already beating the number ones. Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
Then you also have to remember Annalise also just turned 18, I think, right? 18, 19?
that is also
18.
true.
So it's
She's
like,
also
yeah.
they're all young. They're all young, but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think Annalie could get any better than she is already?
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
scary.
I feel like it's hard. I feel like it's hard when you're like, the best female player, because I feel like a lot of times in order to get better, you need to play against people who are
Better than you.
right? Or people who have different like perspectives about the game that you don't necessarily have.
Yeah.
And so like, how do you get better if like what you do almost always works? Right? It's like, how do you find that the almost part that doesn't work, and then how do you train that part, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense because it's like, it's almost like why would I force myself to try and get better when I'm already the best? And
Yeah.
she is the best, and it is by, right now, it's by a good margin. Do you think somebody on tour, because I feel like we see people that like come off tour like just like out of nowhere and just like make these insane runs, like who is that kid that beat Ben a couple of tournaments
Oh, it's like
ago?
that 16, 17-year-old kid. I don't know his name.
I don't remember his name. I think it was some
Yeah.
But that kid like just came out of nowhere, beat somebody else too. I'm forgetting who it was, but like beat like two big names.
Yeah.
But do you think it's gonna take somebody like a random like female off tour to come and beat her? Do you think somebody on tour can like beat her? Let's say within the next like 4 or 5 months. Is it gonna be somebody on tour, or is it gonna be somebody we haven't seen before?
I have no clue. I mean,
I guess it comes down to, do you think that somebody on tour right now has the potential to beat her in the next 4 months? Because if not, then it has to be somebody else.
I wouldn't say in 4 months, but I would say like realistically, like hot take, okay? China is going to get huge in pickleball, and then they're going to start training kids who have aptitudes for it at 2 years old, like they do with the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to take a kid like that, right?
Yeah.
And then some random kid from China that we have no clue who like we know about is going to be playing pickleball, and kid's going to be like 15, right? And just all of a sudden it's like, whoa, who's this kid?
Okay.
I feel like that's realistically going to happen.
Yeah, it will happen for sure. But do you think it's going to take that long for somebody to reliably beat Annalie?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe give it. Let's
Give me answers.
Give me
answers.
Give her a year. Let's use a year or 2 years. Maybe in 2 year, a year.
A year?
I mean, the gap in doubles, right, has already kind of like closed.
Yeah.
But how long did it take for that gap to close, right?
It did take a long time.
I was like 3-4 years.
3 or 4 years, yeah.
Right? So in singles, I mean, I guess Paris pushes her a little bit. Kate Fahey pushes her a little bit, but like, you never know.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like they push her like they push her as in they score more than like the average 2 to 3 points that her typical opponents score. They'll get like 6 or 7, you know. But like I could be wrong about this. I don't think I've ever seen anybody like, so Tyra beat her that one tournament last year. This is a far distant memory at this point. But other than that, nobody really takes her to like it's like Annalie wins 11-9 or she wins 12-10. Like nobody really does that to her on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That'll be interesting.
Anything else about pros, or should we move on to the next topic?
Oh yeah, let's move on here. That was like, I think we also, I mean, men's, right? Like Gabe and Ben win. That's expected.
Yeah, that's expected.
That's expected. And then, did we talk about who won women's?
We talked about the women's, right? Tyra? No, not Tyra. Who won women's?
Oh my gosh, who won women's?
Oh, we're totally blanking. That's okay. I'm on the pickleball court so much that my brain is always just mush when it comes to like more pickleball. You know?
Dude, this is literally my job. How the fuck do I not know who won women's?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was no. It was Tyra and Georgia. That's why, because people were saying that Georgia took the confidence into the mixed game, and that's why they won it. But
That's why I was like, go Flash.
Go Flash, exactly.
Yeah.
Both win. Yeah.
Augie, where were you?
Right.
Sunday.
Need you back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Him and Jaume will make a final at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. I think next week we're going to talk about Austin.
I think you're talking about Adidas.
Yeah. So Adidas happened. That was solo trip for me.
Yeah, I have no clue.
In terms of this duo.
No clue.
But yeah, like I did want to talk about that a little bit because it was such a fun event. It's always cool, just like getting like the reviewer boys together. There's very little that we can say in terms of like, I'm pretty sure the NDA we signed is like, no, basically we can show what the paddle looks like. And
Do they still look
pretty
cool?
sure that's it. Did the metal bone even look cool?
I thought it looked cool.
You thought it looked cool?
Well,
that's because like you were a fan of like with the Padel like their Padel rackets.
The Padel paddle was sick.
The Padel rackets are cool.
Yeah.
And I mean Adidas, for anybody who doesn't know, like Adidas like dominates like Padel. Like Adidas dominates in terms of like their, like everybody uses Adidas Padel rackets.
Not everyone, but like again, they're a big name in Padel.
They're like, I don't know. They're not like number one, like not like household Padel name maybe, but they're approaching there. It's kind of like, they're like Carbon. They're like the Carbon of Padel, I would say. I don't think that's unfair to say. I think it's fun. Like a lot of the original scrutiny for Adidas, I felt like, was that I felt like they tried to take the Padel technology and bring it into pickleball.
Yeah, but it was way too light, right? The paddle itself was way too light, and then I think where you actually put in the weights, you increase the static weight by so minimally that like it didn't actually have any real effect.
Yeah. It's like the overall weight categories, like all the important spots, like that throat of the paddle is like, especially like right here, like you'll note, like I feel like a lot of people,
like right here, like where I put weight on my paddle.
Yeah,
I do it because I just want slightly higher static weight, but that's about it.
Right, like, and you do it for static weight reasons. It's not necessary. Like the way they marketed it was like, this will improve stability.
Yeah, they're like, stability. If you put it like the top edge, it's like more power.
Yeah,
right. And I was like, literally, it's like the exact same spot.
It's the exact same. It's like the least impactful spot that they could have put them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the original metal bone, like it sucked. I don't think anybody will argue against that. It sucked. It was a bad battle.
I was amazed how well Rafa plays with it.
Right? Like, and
different Rafa.
Different Rafa Hewitt.
Woohoo. Yeah. Woohoo. Yeah.
Another fun player to watch. Yeah. But no, but yeah, like for the average person, that paddle sucked. For everything else that was coming out at the time.
Yeah, price per what you got for it, no way.
Blew entirely. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, didn't Rafa even like, because we talked about it with Fed, right? How Fed is playing like with the 3S over the metal bones. Like I'm pretty sure, didn't Rafa do the same thing like for a tournament or two?
In one of the tournaments a while ago, yeah.
He used a different paddle?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I wonder what that conversation was like. It's like, because right now Fed's the number one player in the world. Like his number one singles player right now. Like there's minimal that you could like make him do. Right.
Yeah.
He could go back. Like there's a lot of companies that are probably willing to pay him the money Adidas is. Versus Rafa, when he was signed to Adidas, probably a different conversation. But I'm curious how that goes down. It's like, hey Fed, like, are you using 3S? Are you like, well, why are you doing that? And he's just like, well, because I want to. It's like, okay, cool. Versus Rafa, right? It's like one tournament. I don't remember if it was one or two, but it was a very short stint. And it's like, hey man, you gotta use the metal bone, man.
Yeah.
You got to see it through. Yeah. Like that's so funny. But yeah, can't talk much about it. The design is still cool though. I think that was originally what you asked. Cool. The design is still cool. They it's going to be, I think it's fair. It's okay for me to say it's going to be 4 paddles. Yeah, it's going to be a 4 paddle drop. So they altered some things.
So to play with all 4 of them, I'm dropping $1,000. Is that what we're saying?
I don't even know if I can say that, but I'm not going to confirm.
Okay.
I'm not going to confirm or deny. We'll talk about.
Okay.
We'll talk
Okay.
about price
Okay.
when the time comes.
Okay, cool.
Not 1,000.
Good.
I'll say not 1,000.
Okay, my wallet can't take it anymore. I just keep buying paddles.
Yeah.
It's rough.
You're not.
It's a problem.
Nobody
actually.
should buy all 4 anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's how you let people know what the paddles are like. You know, like I don't have the hookups yet. You know.
Yeah. It's they're gonna be. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Some people are gonna like them. Some people are not. It's not worth spending too much time on because there's
Cool.
like so little that I can
Next
say.
topic then.
Okay, we'll move on then. Wait, no. I still wanted to talk about the Creator Cup.
Oh,
So,
okay,
like,
cool.
Yeah. So like Austin in general, it wasn't just for the Adidas event. We also there was the Creator Cup. I did not participate because I don't have a co-host. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna train you up. You're better than me. So as soon as the next one happens, like when you get the invite, like we're just gonna crush because nobody knows how good you are.
I'm a nobody.
Yeah. You're my dark horse, like under the radar, carrying me on the left side. Once your foot's better.
No, I'm training you to play left, so I can just be like right side princess, and then you can. I'll let you cook, and I'll just look good.
Yeah, you'll set me up for the points.
Yeah.
No, but it was kind of interesting to see like everybody kind of playing in a competitive scenario. Like so many people think. I know some of the guys put out like predictions for it. I didn't get a chance to watch those, but like right off the bat, it was super interesting to see everybody like playing competitively, like wanting to win, like chirping, like what is it? Like we all like a lot of us put out, and myself included, like very mid like points for our actual like review gameplay. But it was cool. I would say I don't want to rank anybody, but I'll talk about like you consume a lot of like other content as well.
Yeah.
Who would you expect to play well, and who would you expect to be more average, just based on like whose content you consume?
Like I feel like Isaac is probably one of the stronger players.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else? I don't even know who's there. That's
Okay.
the thing.
So it was cool. So it was hosts versus co-hosts. It was Braden, Pickleball Effect.
Okay.
It was Braden, Isaac, Chris. No, sorry. It was Braden, Chris, Lewis from Pickleball Pursuit, and who was the fourth? Braden. Oh, and John. Obviously.
Okay.
John, Braden, Lewis, Chris, and John versus their co-hosts. So Eddie as John's co-host, Isaac as Chris's, and then Brian Lim from Building Pickleball subbed in because Kyle couldn't come for Braden, and then Justin from Pickleball Etc., who is Lewis's co-host. So those were the teams.
That's a lot of people.
It was MLP style. So it was 4 and 4.
I feel like the Pickleball Effect guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, right, they used to put out tutorial and coaching videos as well, right?
Yeah, they did.
So I think from some of the few that I saw from them, I was like, oh, yeah, this is, like, solid information, you know? And then I feel like, yeah, Isaac is pretty good.
Yeah.
Chris is pretty good, you know? I watched him play a few points at like tournaments.
Yeah.
Thought he was pretty good. Who else? I feel like John is okay, but
Yeah.
probably not as strong.
Yeah. Good. They lined up for the most part. So like I didn't realize Isaac is already playing pro qualifiers, like has been.
Yeah.
At this point, I thought he was like 5-0, like hovering at that level. But he's already playing pro qualifiers, so yeah, he was like the best, like by far.
Yeah.
By
I mean,
far.
I'd assume so. Like, I know from watching some of the like pods that he's been on where like they talk about his paddle of choice and how much weight he has on the paddle. I'm like, I feel like a lot of people who have heavier paddles that are around like what 9 ounces.
Yeah, he's probably in that.
He's
arena.
probably around there, right? You have to have like that. I feel like most pros play at above what 8.5, 8.7 on weight for paddles. So it's like people who play around that weight are probably stronger players.
That's actually a good point. But yeah, like he it makes it a point. Like he loves like elongated like 125, 126 plus swing weight paddles, which is like I like elongated. I can't do the high swing weight. I'm out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was honestly like he played very well during the competition. He played like he still didn't play like nobody played at 100%.
Yeah.
Nobody really can. It's hard when like a lot of them like flew in like like
jet lag.
hours. Yeah. And like, you know, like him and Chris are still hanging out in Austin right now. Like I'm sure after acclimating to the travel scenario, they're probably playing better now than they were during this one. But he was really good. Chris was really good. I feel like for me, like again, going based off gameplay, looking at whose gameplay is most similar to mine, my incredibly average gameplay. I thought that LUZZ and Justin would be closer to where I was at, and I feel like I was right. Like they are pretty similar to the skill level that I'm at, but not gonna spoil what happens, but it does come down to a dream breaker here. At the event, and LUZZ turned it on. Like LUZZ the day before, and he'll probably say this himself. He was playing like trash like the day before when we were testing the Adidas paddles. Like we there was something about just like the day, like just like he was having an off day. Yeah. He turned it on during the actual match, so that was cool. And him Justin has one of the he has like a loopy but like really hard serve that's just like tough for, I would say, the average player to return. So yeah, I honestly everybody except the players that I already thought were good, like Chris and Isaac and Braden. The people that I expected to be more average turned the level up a little bit. We're actually
not as average as you originally thought.
Yeah, they definitely turned it up for the competition.
It's so weird, right? Because like we're talking about, I've never actually met these people, but it's so weird because I've watched so much content from them that it kind of feels like I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, that's how if anything, that's like a testament, right? So like that's like doing the right thing, like building the brand, just trying to get the name and face out there. Yeah, and like when you do meet them, very few of them are different than what they're like on camera. Persona. The only person I would say was significantly different than what they are like was Brian Lim, because Brian, like. I would say that his content comes across as like pretty like serious, right, and kind of like very informative, especially like in his interviews. Like he gets loose a little bit, but his job is to make you feel loose. In person, Brian laughs at everything. Brian is like the most like lighthearted, like goofball guy. Which is so funny. Like when I first met him, like I was like he laughs at the dumbest shit, but it's so funny. He's like the ultimate like hype man. He makes me believe that he makes everybody believe that they could do stand up.
They made main draw.
Yeah, that they could go, they could make the main draw and that they could like perform on Broadway. Which is nice. Cool. But yeah, no, everybody else is pretty similar.
Cool. Let's see what else we got here on the agenda.
Yeah, where are we heading next?
We can either talk about the LUZZ.
Oh man.
Or we can talk about paddles and tech that we've actually hit recently.
Oh god, I always like to end on paddles. Makes people watch the whole video. No. It keeps the viewer retention up. No, but let's talk about LUZZ for a second. So I wanted to address directly like what happened, because a lot of people, based on what the Dink wrote, just are like, hey, he got the paddle banned, and it ignites a whole different argument of like how much power do reviewers have, and like should they have this sort of power. I didn't bring it.
No.
I don't want to see this brand ever again. But essentially, to break down what really happened was LUZZ sent me these paddles. I don't forget who mentioned it, but somebody mentioned that one of these paddles is particularly hot. You know who it was? I remember it was Christy Price. She's more of like a on the DL reviewer for now. I'm sure she'll get a lot better. And I mean, we could use more female reviewers for sure. This is a very male dominated space, but she helps me out a lot. She provides me a lot of like the x-rays that I use in my videos. Like if any of you watch the GX2 video, that's where I got my x-ray from. I think I might have forgotten to give her credit. That's my bad, Christy, but she's awesome. She's a team player. She mentioned to me that the Canon, she was like, that paddle feels very hot. Like I would say it's a mod alternative. And to be honest, everybody wants to use the mod as their
I don't.
whatever. Okay.
I don't.
Okay, we get it. You're better than the rest of us, man. We get it. People, like when people talk about power, they're like, especially companies, they're like, it hits as hard as the mod. No, it doesn't. I took one bounce on the face of the Canon and I was like, oh shit.
It's a Canon.
It's
Lives up to the name.
As the name implies, it's a freaking Canon. And so I went out to the Grove and I hit 2 serves with this paddle, like serve testing wise. So as hard as I can hit them.
Sure.
And they were, and by hit 2, they were like glue was already rattling. So at that point I knew that there was something up, and then I broke it in and it didn't, like, to be very clear, it didn't hit as hard as like, or rather, when I say it hit as hard as a mod, I don't mean like in the general sense. Like it hit very hard. It hit like in reality, it hits like a Palatech or whatever. When I took the numbers down, it hit almost as hard as the mod. And I was like, this is a problem. So I went out and I made that video partially because like the mod is such a popular paddle.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's gonna be illegal in July. So if there is this paddle that, you know, is legal and can pass these tests, then it felt wrong to gatekeep that information.
Yeah.
At the same time, I felt like that company was being held to every other company is being held to a certain standard, and somehow this company is able to produce a paddle like this. Like, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. LUZZ provided me a discount code. I didn't provide it. I didn't link it in the video. I don't want to profit off of a company that was somehow able to, again, be held to this different standard. What became apparent was that after I made that video was sent directly to Jason Aspis. I'm not going to say who did it, but it was sent directly to him, and immediately they launched an investigation. And so what really happened is LUZZ was sending Gen 2s for like verification and for similarity testing. And then they were producing these Gen 3s for the market. So it's not the first time that a company's been dishonest about similarity testing, but it's the first time it's been like this blatant, in my opinion. And to get onto a list like UPAAs, which is more exclusive than USAPs right now, like, I mean, I get why they did it, but also it was UPAA that ultimately, my video simply prompted an investigation. I did not ban the Canon. I love power paddles. If it came back and UPA was like, oh yeah, that thing's totally fine.
Mods are fine.
I would be playing with that paddle right now, like straight up. But yeah, that's just not the reality. What really rubbed me the wrong way was that, like, the Dink posted the article. They did link my video in the actual like news flash. So I'm happy, happy that they did that. But they have me blocked on Instagram.
Shucks.
They have me blocked, and I don't know why. I've heard from other, like, again, they did link the video, which is nice, but ultimately, I feel like they have a higher presence. Like, they get more engagement on Instagram than they do in the newsletters purely because of the form factor, right? Not as many people are, in my opinion, are probably going to open the newsletter as they are going to scroll past the actual content itself. And so that pissed me off a little bit. Like, they're essentially stealing my content. Not a fan of that. I have nothing bad at all to say about, like, I've never met Thomas. I saw Zane for the first time. We went out. Shout out to the lab, by the way, in Austin. They were the ones who hosted like the creator event and hosted us like testing for Adidas for the first half of the day, which is really sick. It's an amazing spot. Yeah, I saw Zane for the first. I saw him. Didn't even like really say any words to him for the first time at the lab when we were there, and I watched all like Zane, like the pros versus 5-0 series is one of my favorite YouTube series out there, and so yeah, I was just like kind of disappointed. The other thing is I'm not naive enough to think that it was directly Zane or Thomas's idea to block me. Yeah. They probably have way better things, like more important things to do. But like, if either of them sees this, or if whoever runs the socials for the Dink sees this, would just love to get unblocked. I have no bad things to like say at all. I've never said anything bad. I don't think. If I have, remind me, send me a DM of when I said something bad about y'all. But yeah, that just unblock me, please. I would have been able to. Also, so many people were talking shit about me in the comments, and I'm like, I could set the story straight, but I'm getting all of these comments secondhand through people sending me screenshots. How could you?
How could you ruin this paddle for the rest of us?
I'm so sorry. I had to do it. Don't send me your paddle unless you want it banned.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
Story. Speaking of paddles I think should be banned, I'm joking. For legal reasons, I'm joking. Let's start off with paddles.
Oh,
so
nice. This is the stuff I know a lot of stuff about.
Yeah, and let's go ahead. Let's get into it. So we hit these BlueCores somewhat extensively, especially yesterday. Yesterday was your first time hitting them. It's not my first time. So you're holding in your hands the old paddles that I got from Diadem. The 14 millimeter Pro and the 19 millimeter Max.
Weird naming convention.
Horrible naming convention.
Yep.
It's been said a bunch of times, but they screwed everything up. They screwed we've spent so long establishing elongated, standard, wide body, hybrid.
Yeah. So we can't have nice things.
Yeah. This is why naming conventions don't work.
Yeah.
But
low key, these paddles are promising. Like they hit decently well. At least I like the Max, this 19 millimeter, more of this standard shape frying pan.
Yeah.
But I thought that this thing, sweet spot felt great. Power felt adequate. I mean, leans a little bit more all court. It's definitely not a power paddle.
Yeah, definitely not.
This one at least. 19 millimeters. The butt cap looks sick. You can kind of see through. And it's like a BlueCore. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I'll zoom in there.
But like this one felt good. The sweet spot felt great.
Yeah. Versus, tell me what you thought about this one.
This one,
the Pro 14.
If I'm swinging at the ball, it feels great. If the ball is coming to me and I'm trying to like not swing and I'm trying to like soften up stuff, I thought it was terrible. I thought the twist weight was way too low. I felt like I was getting pushed around. The texture feels great, but I don't know. On this, it was just like, I don't know. I would hit a ball slightly off center, like kind of like right here. My fault. I don't have perfect touch, but like, I feel like right here is close enough to the sweet spot that it shouldn't feel like the paddle is twisting in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. The numbers on it aren't great. I think it was like it's an under 6 swing weight, or rather twist weight on that one for sure. I will say, I am fully in alignment here. Like this, the 19 mils I think are going to be really popular, especially like, again, if you're not 100% set on having like a power paddle. The control with this is great. Does not feel like versus this one, where like you were saying, like the dead spots feel like they start again, and playing with its stock, right?
Yeah.
Which we'll get to why we did stock in a second, but playing stock, like the mishits are definitely there. This one, I don't feel like I almost ever mishit a ball.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing feels super nice, and yeah, I'm shocked at the level of power considering like it has an aramid core, right? It's a sandwiched core of like foam on either side and then aramid in the center. This is only on the 19 mil paddles. The 14 and 16s won't have this. They'll just be pure foam. But aramid cores are super loud and are more powerful in my experience than
But these weren't that loud.
Polypropylene. They aren't loud.
These aren't loud at all.
They
I
aren't
was
loud and
surprised
it's not
these weren't
powerful.
like quiet approved.
Yeah. Somebody made whoever we were playing last night, they made a comment and they were like, hey, like, they're like, or no, they mentioned it was quiet. And then you asked me, is it quiet approved? And I was like, no, it's not. But it could be.
Yeah.
Like this, especially like this and the GX2 are in a very similar category. So
wait, let's hold off on the GX2.
Yeah.
So like, why did we play with these stock? That's the question, right?
Yeah. So the and again, other people have talked about this already. The new edge guard is sick. I like it how it's designed.
It looks
I like
cool.
how it's designed. I like the little phantom like diadem in the top corners that we have here. The like feel, the overall feel of these paddles is very premium. Like if I'm paying, this is a paddle that when I feel and I look at it, if I paid, if I paid close to 200 or over that, this is what I'm expecting. The issue is with the practicality wise, this edge guard is super slick. So I've used Braden's tungsten tape. I've used Bodie's tungsten tape. I've used random pieces of lead tape that companies send me every now and then with paddles. Nothing sticks with this edge guard. Like nothing, just stock. From what I understand, putting actual edge guard tape, so I've used Bodie's edge guard tape on this, that sticks. I haven't played with it on it, but a couple of others have, and they've said that it sticks.
It works.
So putting tape and then putting like your weight and then putting the edge guard protective tape over it could help. I've also seen putting the protective tape first and then putting the weighted tape over it so that you can adjust it more easily. But in either case, like it sucks that you have to.
But like this one, I was like, oh, you could actually play this one stock.
You could play this stock. You can play the
This
19
one
mil
you
stock.
can't. I don't think
not
you
at
can.
all. Not even a little bit.
Which was why I think that this is more popular, or it will be more popular.
It will be, I think, too.
But this is probably a personal issue for me. I think you don't really have this issue. But like when I put my hand on the paddle for like a Tui, I like to hold the paddle pretty high up here. And like with this texture, even though it's a nicer texture, I felt that like when I grip, my hands just like pinch and they slide down on the throat here like this. So it felt like sometimes when I would set up for this ball here, my hand would move and it'd throw off my two-handed motion.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's probably just me, but if you are a person who actually chokes up on the paddle with their left or right hand, depending on what hand you are, for your two-handed backhand, kind of like this, you are going to notice that I think your hands are going to slide a little bit more out of position.
Yeah. I guess it's just another argument for putting, protective tape on these, right? Just to make that happen.
Yeah.
So that's the BlueCores. Again, like I think what I'll do is I'll try to ask for the other two shapes of the 19 mil and just do a 19 mil review for when it comes out, because I think those are going to be so for people who go for this paddle type, it's going to be the most popular option, but we'll see. Anyways, so let's move on to the unMarked. Grab yours for a second, because it kind of getting to your point when you're talking about like choking up here on the paddle. You can literally explain why there's pink on the actual throat.
So like my hands will sweat and it'll like the dye from some of the paddles will be here, but like my hands won't slip from this position. And so like right here, it'll stay. And it like right here, it just doesn't slip. It sticks where it is. So it's like great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. I only ever see the dye from the paddles like rub off when it's like when I have like a bunch of them in my bag and like the handles rub against each
yeah.
other. I've never seen somebody like with their hands transfer the dye onto the
Yeah,
paddle.
well, so like I've only actually noticed that happen with this specific color of this specific company's grip. So this is the U Drippin grip,
Uh-huh.
and it's only happened to me on this specific color and this specific model. I don't remember which one it is.
Interesting.
But I like this grip because of like how thin it is.
Yeah.
And I don't like adding a bunch of extra overgrips onto the handle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like taking off stock grips.
Yeah.
I like to keep the stock grip and then like put one.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me like the right size. But that's why like I don't care if it really bleeds.
That's fair. Yeah,
So-
in general, like I mean, the bleeding doesn't matter a bunch, but
Yeah.
it's like it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the unmarked, right? Right off the bat, number one thing I noticed, the grit level.
Oh yeah, this is insane. You know, we were talking how like we think certain paddles from pros have different grit levels that are associated, that are, you know, I guess also released to the public. They're just different.
Yeah.
Two paddles, identical grit, and the grit it's sandpaper.
Nuts.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like you can hear it from here, and we're in like a pickleball. We're at Pickleball Kingdom, by the way.
Yeah.
But you can literally hear it, even though we have people playing in the background.
Yeah. This is just like when we were talking like Gen 3, like OG Yola Gen 3 levels of grit, this is as close to that as I've seen
Yeah.
in a long time. Like the
Yeah.
Thrive Smoke was also up there.
Yeah.
This thing though, this is nuts. Like
It's very similar to the Thrive Smoke in terms of grit.
the grit level. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is absolutely insane. What is your thought? What do you think about the design? I like minimal designs. I think this is too minimal for me.
Oh, I think this paddle is sick.
Yeah?
I love the gradient. I think the black gradient is better. So I think if I were to get, or it's not if I get another, it's when I get another one.
Yeah.
'Cause
You love this paddle.
Low-key, this is my favorite paddle that I've hit this year.
Yeah, you love this one.
Yeah. So like, I hit it maybe last week for the first time.
Yeah, I
in
did
like a 10, 15 minute play session, and I was like, yo, this is the paddle. Like immediate improvement for like the type of game that I was playing.
Yeah. Okay, so forget the design for a second. Why do you say that? Like, what type of game do you think you play, and why do you think it
So
suits
like,
you?
I always wanted. I always lean a little bit more towards all court paddles.
Okay.
With, you know, pushing that edge of power.
Yeah, it's like low power, high
Low
all
power, and then like great spin.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's exactly what this was. So I was hitting the like the Vatic V6.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this paddle is like great. Like resets are great, dinks are great. It just needs more power for like drives and putaways, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like this paddle is like essentially that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the ball comes a little bit stiffer off of the face on this one, but for me, it's like, well, that's kind of what I wanted, right? I wanted more of that ability to like hit through the ball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I've always kind of leaned towards like these elongated paddles. And so I thought the swing weight was pretty good out of the box. And the only place that I added lead was like here, right?
Yeah.
Or not lead, tungsten.
Tungsten. Yeah.
Bodhi,
No-
good tungsten tape, by the way.
Good Bodhi tape there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think right now this is currently what I'm maining.
Yeah.
And I made that decision after 30 minutes of playing with it.
Yeah. It's sick. And, you know, what you're saying makes a lot of sense in terms of, like, yeah, the Vatic, like, comparing it, having a little more punch than Vatic. Like, I mean, similar shape to the V7. similar, like a little bit longer handle here, but I think what you're feeling is like the layup is a CFC, like carbon fiber, fiberglass carbon fiber, same as the OG, like or I mean they still make it this way, the Huarache X,
Yeah.
right, from 11.6, and like people were
Oh, it's so gritty.
frothing at the mouth over the the grit level. It's hard to, you can't overestimate the grit level like through the camera because
Yeah, I mean you can't even describe it like from how you see it. But I'm just like, this thing is, and like I know that certain paddles will like lose grit over time.
yeah.
This is kind of embarrassing because this is how much I like play or I hit. But I've had this paddle for maybe a week now. I probably have 40 hours of court time with it. And the grit feels exactly the same as it did when I first hit it, which is nice. So
Yeah.
at least for now, it seems like the texture is going to stick.
Yeah.
So that's always a nice thing.
Yeah, it'll probably wear down as it's a woven cloth with texture, like
Yeah.
it's going to. But
Yeah.
I'm going to speak with Wesley a little bit more about this. This will, barring like another major, what day is today? Whatever date it is, the 11th. So I think the BlueCores come soon. I think Adidas comes soon. I think the next mini review that I'm gonna produce is on this one because I really, other than like for my personal preference, it's a little heavy, but performance-wise, like you can't really deny. It's like it's a pretty great paddle. Like the solid impact feel, like nothing too crazy in terms of power, but it's definitely
And I think this
there.
gradient looks way better than the white gradient.
That's funny. I felt the opposite, but I think everybody falls in line with you. The black gradient sold out first before the white one.
Well, if I had the black gradient, you wouldn't be able to tell that my grips were bleeding.
You wouldn't get exposed
for
being
having
sweaty.
a sweaty left hand. Yeah. But
Yeah.
handle felt great, like solid construction on the handle, like it wasn't too square. That's kind of why, like, the only reason I would ever take off the base layer is because like the grip would be a little bit too square. So like I was playing with the ESQC before,
Yeah.
and I had to take the overgrips off, or the replacement grip, and then put a bunch of overgrips, and like I tried to like sand down parts of the bevels to make it more pronounced.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the grip itself was too box-like. And so with like doing all the overgrips and the adjustments, it like made it more solid. But this, out of the box, it's honestly, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Feels more ergonomic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And like, yeah, my favorite thing, like you said, like I really mostly do it. I do this if I ever need like another layer of weight. And I don't want to use like lead tape, like it just needs it too significantly. Or like you said, if I don't like the handle, have you ever used the Ethos undergrip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those a lot. I like them way more, like they're not only easier to apply than Hesicores, but they're also like more flexible, like more like nice feeling.
I use them. For me, I find them kind of strange because I feel like you don't get as much absorption from like sweat on your hands.
Yeah.
Because you're literally putting the overgrip on top of like silicone.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So you'll have to replace overgrips, I feel like, more often.
That makes sense. Yeah. I haven't used one long term enough.
If you're like super sweaty, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just stick with the regular one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to the Nightshade here from Gherkin. So neither of us have really spent a lot of time here on the elongated, but we both hit the hybrid.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had a pretty positive experience overall. Like it feels like, again, it felt like solid in everything.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to find like a weakness. I feel like once we hit this one, I feel like you're gonna like this one more.
Yeah,
just because of the shape.
Probably. I like the texture.
Yeah.
It feels.
Texture is more fine.
It's like, yeah, I feel like if you're trying to. It's also too. But I feel like if you feel like I remember going to like the aquarium as like a little kid, and then like you see like shark skin.
Yeah.
Like you touch the shark skin. I'm like, I feel like that's kind of what this feels like.
Yeah.
You know? Or like a very fine grain like sandpaper.
Yeah. Agreed.
What
Agreed.
the colors? Do you like the colors on this?
You like the colors. I I am on the fence. I like a lot of colors. Actually, I really love the color scheme. It's a little too loud for me.
Okay.
But you feel different.
Yeah. First impressions of this one specifically, I feel like the grip is a little square,
Yeah,
a little flat.
tiny bit.
Yeah.
That's
not,
there's a problem that I had with their original drop as
Yeah.
well, with like the Quantum Phantom
Yep.
Spectre.
Yeah. I think it also might have to be just the way that they put on this replacement grip. I feel like there's a spot for my pinky to just kind of like, it's like a dimple right here, and for me it feels weird coming from like a tennis racket.
Yeah. Yeah, having like thick butt caps is like a major pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Like Gherkin has it not to the super big extent, but it's there. Selkirk, especially in the 008s, I hate the butt cap on that. Like, it's so thick.
Yeah.
It's also the same reason I don't use slice caps. I prefer to use like flick weights because the slice caps are just really freaking thick on the bottom.
I'm like so like cheap. I refuse to buy those. So I literally cut up pieces of lead and then I stick them on the butt. Like,
Yeah.
That's.
You know what's
I
interesting?
don't have it on that one. I have it on my I had it on my paddle tech.
Yeah, but to bring back the BlueCore real quick, something that I didn't know was that these end caps, I don't know how removable they are. This is the first time I'm going to try this live right now.
Wait, do it on the other paddle. The paddle we don't like.
Fair enough. So the somehow you might have to take the grip off to do this, but you can take off this butt cap. And apparently some people, like, you can just stick weight in here. Like, you can just like stick
that's cool.
like tungsten putty or like whatever, like beads. I don't know
That's
what
probably-
people use for weight,
Yeah.
but like you can just like stick them in there. So it's not really cool that you can see through the bottom, but that you can actually stick the weights in there. So see, the little design things about the BlueCores were just nice. But anyways, yeah, no, but this paddle, I feel like it does everything to a very solid extent. I think you didn't get to hit the older model, like the Spectre Quantum.
I didn't hit those
and whatnot.
I hit just the hybrid version of this.
Yeah,
right?
but in comparison, like, this paddle is a major upgrade. Like, my main qualm, in general, like, Gherkin makes paddles that hit the ball extremely solid. Like, not especially even stock, like you get umph behind the ball. I really felt that with the Spectre, which is the exact same shape as this elongated Nightshade. But my problem was that the Spectre was a little bit on the heavier side, like balance point wise. They fixed that with this.
Yeah, this
like
feels pretty balanced.
That feels very well balanced.
Honestly, this feels like one. Let me guess. 118 maybe.
It's actually 116.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, I might have to rerun that number. I could be misremembering, but
Yeah.
it's heavy, but not too heavy. Like, not
it
at
feels
all.
fine.
The old Spectre was 119, bordering 120. I think somebody's came in at 121.
That was like one of the few issues I had with the smoke, by the way. It's like,
Yeah,
like mine came in at 119, but it feels sluggish still.
felt sluggish. And then the recommended weight was 120 on that one.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Hits hard, but not good enough for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but the Nightshades, we'll put some more time on these.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
this is what Kyle, Dig Splash Media mains, and I can see why for sure. Like, it's
It hits
good.
hard.
It hits hard. Yeah,
Good spin, hits hard. What more do you really want, right? Like,
yeah. Just overall, like, they didn't go out of their way to do anything super innovative, but
Yeah.
they just made a very like solid performing paddle, and
Yeah.
it's going to be priced well, which is another major plus. It's
Cool.
All right. Moving on to the last paddle for today, the new Engage Pro 1 Innovation line. We both hit this for the first time last night.
Yeah.
It also just released yesterday. What did you think?
I liked it. I was first a little bit thrown back by the shape because if you look, they just look really long, kind of narrow, but it hit well. I think if you are a fan of the feel of like the paddle techs, like the 12 millimeter paddle techs or even the 14, like all of those, I would say Actually, yeah, no. So like the TKO line, right? That's the elongated one.
Yeah.
If you like those, but you wanted a larger sweet spot, because I feel like those had a pretty small sweet spot.
Yeah, they're tight.
Then like you definitely like this.
Yeah.
Like it felt very, very similar, just a little softer, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm in the exact same boat. Like even just looking at like the core, like that's a 12.7. I'm pretty sure that the PaddleTech TKO Bantam is also 12.7. Like in exact. And then this is 15.2. I'm pretty sure PaddleTech is 14.5. But like it gave me that vibe right off the bat, just because similar type of texture, right? This is probably a little bit grittier, but overall, like PaddleTechs and these engages aren't like overly gritty. It feels very fine, kind of like the Nightshade, honestly.
Yeah.
Like very like fine, sort of like you said, shark skin type texture to it. The unidirectional like carbon fiber layering that you can see the fibers like running really well, like top to bottom. And then, yeah, like the core, like the specificity of like 15.2 on the core, like it gave me that vibe from the beginning. To your point, it is 16.6 inches long. So it is a little bit longer than a traditional elongated paddle. But yeah, I couldn't put these down last night. Like the fit, like for me personally, you have a lot more like control over your shots than I do. For me, somebody who struggled with that a little bit, but I was a big fan of the Bantam line from last year. Like this played very, very well.
Yeah.
Only qualm is that I'm glad they stopped doing like the glossy edge guard. It just looked kind of tacky. I'm so happy they got rid of that.
Matte black everything.
Nice matte black edge guard. My one qualm is the handle is a little bit circular. Like there's blocky, and then there's circular like handles for me. This one, at least in the 15.2, this feels a little bit circular for me, and it's also really thick. Like
I like it though. I feel like
I like thick handles, but I think overall, like if I put an overgrip on this, it could get too thick.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's where I'm at. But
I think it feels good. I think it's
good?
very similar to.
But
I can feel the bevel. So like if you're a tennis player and you're used to having bevels, this has pronounced bevels that you can really like feel, which is nice.
Agreed.
I don't know if this is like is this like an actual production model?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I thought the paddle itself was fine. The things that I did not like is like the quality control of the printing. I'm like kind of OCD or like certain things that just like throw me off, right?
Wait, I didn't notice this. Show me.
Right? So like it could be an optical illusion with why the dots are, but like this is not in the center of the sweet spot.
Oh,
it's like slightly off.
Yeah.
Right? So that was just like, okay, you either have to really play with like, you know, make it intentionally off. So then it's like you purposely did that, as opposed to not have it centered because the printing was slightly wrong.
I suppose I think Engage has always done that, where they've done the off-centered like target mark. I think it's just an optics thing.
Maybe.
Like it would look scrunched, honestly, if it was more like right here. Like there would be a black space up here versus there's none down here.
No, I'm saying like have these little lines here, have them equidistant from the edge guard here, here, and here, or like, or at least left to right. So like, you know, like so like this, I have like,
well,
a little more than my thumb, like my thumb to the first digit. Here it's like my thumb, and then like in. So I'm like it's off by like a millimeter, 2 millimeters, and that is like throwing me for a whirl.
I think it would require the same thing though. Like it would require them to shift this down so that you get the same spacing here, here, and here.
I don't need the same spacing from the top because I'm only looking at it left to right.
So would you want them to just like make the lines longer here?
Yo, if the lines went all the way through, I'd be like, yeah, that's okay. But I want this line here. I want this line to be the center of the paddle.
Is it not?
It feels.
It is.
On mine, on this one, does it feel like it's the center?
I guess not.
No, this
not
one
really.
feels off. Yo, in the comments, is this line like in the center of the paddle?
Yeah, wait. Let me know. Let us know down there.
I
Cause
feel like it's
what the
not.
heck?
I 100% feel like it's not.
I think you're right. What do you think about this one? Like,
I think this one is better than this one.
I think this one.
That's
I
what
think
I'm
you're
saying,
right.
Quality control, like make it the center on all of them. And then the other thing that I had was like Selkirk does this. Selkirk only puts tape
With the
that's
tape.
a Selkirk tape, but this is literally electrical tape.
Yeah.
Like that feels so cheap.
Yeah.
This I'm not pleased with.
I actually fully agree with that. I like having.
Like that's why I asked. Like, is this like
Yeah,
production model or did it ship with
Diadem did the same
with
thing.
electrical? But like at least look at the Diadem one.
Yeah. Oh, is it more flush?
Yeah, like the Diadem one is flush. It's matte. Like it looks like, you know, like when the top of like your tape starts to come off and it starts to peel, and then like you have to go into like the toolbox or whatever and be like, yo, I gotta wrap this so it sticks.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is like, no, this is like a clean line, holds like even if this tape came off, this is gonna stay on the paddle because there's like glue on the underside or tape on the underside of this grip.
Mm-hmm.
This one is like, if you take this off, like this is coming out. And I was not a fan of that, even though the paddle itself hits great.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so interesting actually that you noticed that, because the way you phrase it, because even if I look at, like, let's look at the Nightshade here for a second. Like if I remove the band itself, which I'm sure the band also probably helps, like from you not being able to see something like
at
this.
least give us a band.
Yeah, but even like here without the band, like this Nightshade is really flush, like really.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that like it's probably like it's a factory wrap job. So I don't know.
Like this is like, yo, someone did it by hand and they were lazy or
They were lazy.
Just like, yo, wrap it real quick.
Yeah, if anybody else purchased one of these and has a similar story with or has like a better wrapped, grip, let us know. But yeah, it is definitely from an optics perspective purely.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I mean, like, again, I don't know what the pricing was. Was it sub 200 for these?
Shoot, I don't remember. I think it was.
Okay, but I'm going to assume
It's around 200.
it's probably that because it feels like
Wait, look it up.
$280.
This is $280?
This is $280. That's why I'm like, if it's $280, you know how like you're like, yeah, this looks premium, this feels premium.
Yeah.
This plays premium, but it doesn't come off as premium when you have electrical tape like this. Like, if you look here, the electrical tape isn't even flush. There's like space underneath.
Yeah.
And so like your hands get sticky if you would ever like go like this.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So like if I'm gonna pay $280, I should get at least a nice clean line on the entirety of the paddle.
Yeah. So we'll say that the Pro ones for now, they feel like as if you're those people that say like it's about what's on the inside that counts about the person, not what's on the surface, then that would be these. 280. We're getting a little steep here. We're getting a little steep there for sure. But these still play really freaking well.
Yeah.
I still really like how they play. Not enthused about how they look.
Wait, go back to the mark. Side note. What is it? 179?
Yeah.
Yeah, 179. Good paddle.
Good Pat. Yeah. See, like at the Mark, the Nightshade, I think the Diadems will probably be pretty up there in terms of price, but probably less than 280 from what I remember.
That's the thing, right? If I'm paying $180 and like the build quality and all of the stuff is like there, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right? If the paddle plays a little bit better, but the quality of the paddle appears to be not what 280 is, I'm not as happy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the last thing that we're going to talk about today, I'm going to give you like an initial reaction to this. So
Okay, I have no clue what this is.
yeah, Aaron has no idea what this is. I've been using this. This is from YOBOW. Okay, this is essentially like a recovery and warm up package that they offer. I unboxed this on my Instagram
They have
last
like
last week or so.
the guns, the Theragun
Exactly.
things.
So let me let me know. So they have a massage gun. They also have. Let me know like how this would seem to you as also like an advanced player, right? We have a light resistance band. This is everything that comes in just one package here. We have a light resistance band. We have a medium resistance band. We have a heavy resistance band. We've got this one, which
Hold on, be right back.
yeah.
Be right back. Pull down the shorts a little bit. Oh yeah, these feel great, man.
Yeah, it feels so nice.
These are nice. These
And
are
then
nice bands.
yeah, and then we also have like I don't
like
actually I don't know what the difference is, like how you use this band
These
versus
are like, yeah, so you use this more like stretching this way, here, and then like you let's try this real quick.
yeah.
So then like you can use this for like your toe here, your foot.
Yeah.
All right. So this way, stretching this way.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, I always get kind of nervous about these because like the rubber feels thin on a lot of them,
yeah.
but this one feels totally fine.
Do I use these all the time at PT?
Nice and durable.
No, these are good.
Yeah. Not just that. And they have the gun. They also have
The forearm
they have a
trainers.
forearm activation ball,
I've
which
used these.
looks like a modern age fushigi. You ever get one of those when you were a kid? Like want one? Do you know what the fushigi?
the glass ball.
Fushigi. Oh my gosh, it's just cool, but it's also like it's really nice to use.
Does it light up?
It it doesn't light up, but
Oh, that's so fun.
note for the future. But yeah, it's sick and it works really well. And the last thing, my favorite thing in here, it's not the last thing. The gun is in my bag because I literally like do use it, and it has different like heads to it. My favorite thing here is this nice, you get like a nice little, it's
Like
blocked.
a stretch block.
It's got two of them here.
Oh.
You get this nice sort of like Achilles stretch going with this.
That's good stuff.
And it's not insanely heavy. Like this is pure rubber, right?
Bruh,
and rubber
you
can be
dude,
heavy
You
as
know what
shit.
these are?
What?
These are paddle erasers. These are like actually paddle erasers.
Dude,
Let me borrow it.
Have I been getting this all wrong? Here, wait, do the ultimate test because this mark has a ton
Here
of
we
dust
go,
on it.
so- Here we go. Or maybe this side.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna get the gun real quick.
Yo, it's a paddle eraser. Bruh. Clean. Yeah, look, it's a paddle eraser.
That's so funny.
But
I can't find the gun. The gun's in my other bag, but but the gun has like different heads to it. Like it's got like the it has like the regular ball head,
Yeah.
but then it has like a point to it, and it has like a little like Y shaped one. Like
Yeah.
it looks like the YOBOW logo.
I never tried the actual gun from YOBOW. I always used the Hyper Ice ones.
The Hyper Ice ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Those are they're like expensive.
Those are expensive. This is definitely cheaper. And then this is just like a nice like little addition. I think like for me, somebody who doesn't know how to use these things, they have like a quick startup like routine for
kinda
everything.
cool.
It's sick.
So the real question though is, how much does this cost?
That's a great question.
I guess thinking about it now, if I would spend $200 on one of those guns, then I would spend $200 for a gun plus this stuff.
Yeah.
But the gun would have to be a good one with like adjustable speeds, like the different heads, like you said.
180.
180?
180 for everything.
Then that's a good deal.
I think that's competitive.
Okay, that's a good deal.
That's a good deal.
I'm not as upset as I thought I would be.
Yeah, because like it's like you're right. Like I think a lot of people just want to use the massage gun, and if you're just paying like that, like over $100 for a massage gun, like that's pretty nuts, and that's kind of like where Hyper Ice and all these other brands are at.
Yeah.
Versus this, like having the total package, everything's like pretty durable. Like I don't really foresee you needing to like replace things really quickly.
Yeah,
And if
I
you
mean-
do, they're like $20 a piece,
Yeah.
right? Like that that to me works. Like I could use this for a really freaking long time. And at 170, you know, trying to actually do like a full body warm up, like I am not the target audience for this because I'm not a professional athlete that will use every single item of this. But for those that are, if you're trying to keep the costs down and trying to get like everything to activate your body,
I'd probably
this.
use it. Yeah.
I mess with this.
I mean, like, I would say like if I'm coaching like 4 or 5 hours a day,
Which you are.
yeah, I'd probably use this.
There we go.
Yeah.
All you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Of course. Let me keep one of the blocks because I need those.
Okay. You mean paddle erasers?
I need those Achilles stretches. Yeah, the paddle eraser Achilles stretchers.
For sure. Let's go.
Let me keep that.
Here you go.
Thank you so much. This is all I need.
Yeah.
All right. With all of that said, everybody, that's going to wrap up the episode for today. You're going to get these regularly now. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, so here's to that. But yeah, thanks. As Aaron mentioned, we're here filming at Pickleball Kingdom here in Plano. So if you're in the area, come check this place out. I play here a lot. Aaron plays here a lot because he has to. And
I don't have to play here, but I do have to coach here.
You do have to coach here,
yeah.
Which Aaron's coaching lessons are awesome, and he's way better than me. I don't even coach. So come check this place out. But in any case, thank y'all again so much for watching. And as per usual, I hope you all stay happy and healthy, and of course, out on the courts. Until the next one. Peace.
Cool.
One done, baby.
One done relatively